Welcome back to MMA Al Dente. I am here to talk about Ignacio Bahamondes versus Ludovit Klein. Ludovit Klein is 19-4-1, 28 years old, and he's given up 8 inches of height and 3.5 inches of reach to 25-year-old Ignacio Bahamondes, who is 14-4 as a pro. Ignacio is an excellent striker, just a really good striker. Multiple attacks, every different angle, every different stance, and really good range, obviously. And height, of course. He throws very strong volume from many different angles, and we've seen him get some beautiful finishes in the UFC. That spinning wheel kick or back kick, whatever the fuck kick, over Roosevelt Roberts deep into round 3 was just a beautiful finish. Knocked him dead. It wasn't one of those, knocked him silly. He knocked him dead in that fight. And also he got a 3rd round finish over Rong Zhu, his only submission victory in his 14 wins. And it came in the UFC with a Darce choke deep in the fight. So that bodes very well for him. His development as a fighter and also his cardio and grit and whatever else. He's got 9 TKOs, just the 1 submission, and 4 decisions as victories. And his 4 losses come 2 via submission, 2 via decision. He lost to John McDessie and Salvador Becerra by decision. Both close fights. I thought he won the Becerra fight. And the McDessie fight, I thought he lost. McDessie is just a really frustrating, neutralizing fighter, great counter striker. And he took away Ignacio Bahamondes' reach there with great counter striking and great boxing. He was submitted twice, once to some guy with no name, and once to Preston Parsons, who again is a UFC fighter. So not a lot of shame there, losing to that guy earlier in his career. And he beat Roosevelt Roberts and Rong Zhu, as I said, both 3rd round finishes, very impressive. And the Rong Zhu Darce is his only submission. But he also took out Edson Gomez on the Contender Series with a front kick. I think that was on the Contender Series. And Trey Ogden in his last fight, that was turned into like a sparring match or whatever. But I blame Trey Ogden for that fight. He kind of no-showed there. He was up against a difficult matchup. And when it was staring him in the face, I thought he didn't do a lot to make things happen. Ludovit Klein, he's 19-4-1. He's got 16 finishes in his 19 wins, 8 via knockout, 8 via submission. Bodes very well for him. He's a very well-rounded guy. And his 4 losses come 1 via knockout, 2 via submission, and 1 via decision. He lost to Nate Landwehr. Nate Landwehr got his first submission victory, and that was very impressive. Anaconda deep into the fight, round 3. And Aiden Lee, this other capable guy, submitted him. He lost by knockout to this guy Igor. Igor KO'd him. That was a KO. And Mike Trezano beat him by decision in another very close fight, but one in which he was out-wrestled. And, of course, he has a draw against Jai Herbert, which, whatever. You go to a draw when there's a bunch of ball shots. But still. I thought he would have knocked Jai out, and, without the ball shot, I don't even want to speculate on what would have happened. He would have lost 29-28 because the ball shots are the ball shots, so it is what it is. But that wasn't the greatest fight. He's picked up some great wins in the UFC, though. Beat Mason Jones, Devontae Smith, Shane Young. Maybe not great because I don't think either one of them's in the UFC still. But those are all talented fighters, and Ludovit Klein beat them all. The best win of his came over Mason Jones. Mason had a good bit of hype there, and he was supposed to beat Klein, favored to do so, and I think Klein took it on short notice, and Klein was busting him up and looking really good and muscling him around. I think Klein in this fight, he's very technically sound. I think he's technically better than Bahamondes on the feet. You give these guys the same height and reach and everything else, and I think Klein is just a sharper technician. He's just got a really tight stance, a southpaw, which could frustrate Bahamondes, and he's just really, really smooth. Everything is smooth and fluid. He definitely looks more like your conventional kickboxer. And I think he could score points there against Ignacio Bahamondes. I think Klein is definitely the sharper athlete, as far as agility goes. Bahamondes isn't bad, but Ludovit Klein will be able to close the distance, and I think he's the faster striker between the two of them. And as far as the wrestling goes, I'd favor Ludovit Klein. I'd favor Ludovit Klein to want to wrestle in the first place and to make use of it. So I think this fight is really close. I think Bahamondes, should get the better of really anybody on the feet, whether you're a better technician or whatever. He's a good enough technician, got a great diversity of attacks, and he's got gigantic reach and height advantage. But Ludovit Klein is a very solid technical fighter, really good at mixing shit up, and I think this one's going to be really close, and gun to my head, I'm favoring Ludovit Klein. I think Ludovit Klein hangs in there. He might get submitted or knocked out in round 3 with how Bahamondes is. But Ludovit Klein, I think, can out-hustle Bahamondes and frustrate him on the feet with sharper strikes that help take away the reach advantage. So I think this one will be close. I wouldn't put my life savings on Ludovit Klein, but at plus 185, yeah, no doubt I'm betting on him. Ludovit Klein. I think I want to see the prop bets. Are not available yet, but gun to my head, I'd favor him winning by decision. Bahamondes hasn't shown any weakness in his chin, and Ludovit Klein, even though he's got good power, he's might have a hard time reaching his chin with some powerful strikes there and kicks. So I think overall this will be a close fight, and I'm expecting Ludovit Klein to out-hustle him and maybe out-muscle him inside if he's able to get in close and get him down. So that's my pick. My heart's not totally into it because I really respect Ignacio Bahamondes, but nevertheless, it is my pick. I'm going with Ludovit Klein. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.